Whether they can just put this New World Order into place and destroy this document is what's at stake.
Yeah, isn't that what the famous Thomas Jefferson quote, something like that? They said, oh, something like, oh, this is great. He said, yeah, it's great as long as you could keep it. As long
Benjamin
as
Franklin said it. What is it? Do we have a democracy or a republic? And we have a republic if we can keep it.
If we can keep it, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. We have to keep it. And the Constitution is the way to keep it. And everything that goes against the Constitution, it leads to tyranny. That's why they made it. If you go against the Constitution, you're leading to tyranny. It'll end up being tyranny. Then it sets precedents. It's okay to torture people. Now it's a precedent. It's okay for the president to shoot people. Come on, this is crazy. This is what dictatorships do. This is what totalitarian regimes do. Just because everyone's all caught up in Dancing with the Stars and all these other TV shows, and they think that everything's okay because no one's knocking on their door yet. Oh, it gets me. I mean, I'm getting fed up here. The Federal Reserve, which was established on 12/23/1912, that was when it was actually established. Supposedly, according to leap years, this charter will expire on the magical Mayan date of 12/21/12. So the Federal Reserve's charter is due to expire. And the concern is that the Federal Reserve has been taking 1% per year in gold certificates, and after 100 years they will have it all, which is the exact truth. So they've actually obtained the controlling interest of all the gold. So when they say let's reserve
money.
The real money, right? So when they keep resisting audits of the Fed and audits of the gold reserve, let's audit the gold reserve. I put it in my film Shadow and Darkness. Where's the gold? I mean, this is in 2010. Okay, where is the gold? Show us the gold. Oh, it's in Fort Knox. Well,
not allowed to see.
Even if you're not allowed to see, and most of it's been carted off already. Okay, and whatever's left, they own it. I mean, that's what this whole thing is. This whole Ponzi scheme is about. So the charter expires magically on the Mayan date by their design 100 years ago, and they will obtain 1% per year. So over this course of time, if you look at the money system, in fact, I'll put down a video of this on the video that I put on YouTube. I post on YouTube, and maybe I'll even repost it here on livestream.com, Truth Talk News. I'll put this screen here. If you could see how the inversion of the money supply and the value of the currency, as the money supply increased, the value went down. This is something that is very obvious, and it's direct related.
Yeah, every day it just loses value.
And on top of that, it only took 20 years for the Federal Reserve, which was supposed to protect the economy and do all these great things to stop from the panic of 1907 ever from happening again, and all these runs on the bank, okay, caused the Great Depression and caused the Great Contraction and panic of 1920, which nobody even talks about. But it's the same thing that they did with like the recession of 2008. You can look at it at the 1920 recession as being a similar thing, stating up to the big one, which is the Ponzi scheme blew up. 20 years later, the government is bankrupt, and the bankers come in.
Yeah, in the 30s, they
and we'll take your gold.
Were bankrupt,
right?
Confiscated gold.
Well, that's where we're at right here in this article, or in this. I actually wrote this myself. The concern is that the Federal Reserve has been taking 1% a year, and this might be why there is great resistance to audit the Fed. These criminals wish to hide their crimes and further enslave the population of workers. Anyone holding gold will once again be called to give it in, as in 1933, by force if necessary. Because of that point, all gold will be pledged to pay off our interest on debt. That's what they're doing. They did it before, and they literally did it again. People did go to jail. A lot of people did bury their gold and save it.
And nobody knows this.
But then it wasn't registered. See, now gold is registered. You can't buy gold. They know you have gold.
Gold bullion.
They know you have it. They know you have it. Okay? So, they'll say, where is it? And I said, I sold it. I don't have it. No, I don't believe that. And they will rip your house apart to find it. It's not going to be pretty, ladies and gentlemen. So that could be a trap. I don't know what to say. Have food, seeds and food, and guns and weapons to protect yourself, because you might need that. You might even need that to eat. I mean, that sounds apocalyptic, I know, but you got to understand that this Ponzi scheme can't go on much longer, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
I mean,
and obviously,
we knew this. You know,
also, like, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been telling people that, and they all like, really? I mean, they're obviously, again, when we talk about mind control and the way the media and the television they're programming your mind. So we could look at something like the 2012 thing that started a couple of years ago. It got real big. Hollywood started making these movies of the end of the world. The end of the world. Oh, these Mayans talk about. You do any research like we do, Mayans weren't talking about the world exploding and ending.
no, it was a new age. It's the dawning of a new age.
The end of the age of Aquarius going into.
No, the end of Pisces
going into Aquarius.
Right.
So that you got the movies and them are trying to keep saying Mayans 2012 end of the world. So people get
John
into this
Cusack going through all these.
Yeah, and the Hollywood mentality. But the real thing is, it's not these Mayan end of the world date. It's the Federal Reserve end of the world date that they're getting you ready for. They're not going to say, get ready for the end of the world because of the money system's going to collapse. It's,
that's right.
Oh, these Mayans.
That's right.
End of the world, crazy.
And notice how there is all of a sudden now everybody's on the bandwagon. Buy gold, buy gold. Everyone's selling gold. All these ads on television to buy gold and all that. It's like very late, and especially I would say very threatening time to actually purchase any new gold. If you have any gold or silver, I would
be hiding it.
I would be hiding it, and figure out a way that if it's registered. You know, show that you have no assets, because when they start coming for it, and you said you had to buy bread with it or something, and hope that they don't tear your walls apart to find it. If they think you have a lot, well, most people wouldn't have like 10 or 20,000. I don't think they might. I don't know. You know, I don't know, because actually 10 or 20, you'd be surprised. And for a fact, I can tell you right now that this would be like over $1 million worth of gold. Right here, my mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if my mouse was really made of gold, so you'd be surprised how small. You know, a small. You can $1 million worth of gold could fit in in your pocket. No joke.
That's true.
It really is true. So people don't think of that also. But they, most likely,
most people are
they would just
so
be.
Bad right
well,
now,
what would happen is
what
what would happen is, again, it would be more fraud, Vinny. The government, Obama would come if he's reelected, God forbid, and he would say, "All right, everybody, we're going to take, you're going to turn in your silver, you're going to turn in your guns,
yeah, FDR,
you're going to turn in your guns, you're going to turn in your silver, you're going to turn, and we're going to provide you with the resources that you need to live."
And they'll probably put on a show, have a couple of guys to set up.
I can't even imagine the horrific tyranny that is down the road. I mean, I'm not even kidding.
No,
I literally, I'm not even joking, bro. I mean, I have nightmares, and I'm not even kidding. And it just, some scary stuff is really down the road.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen like instantly hot, but it's just like, what they're doing to us, ladies and gentlemen, and I can thank Aaron Russo for this, right? It's a frog, right? See, like we're beginning to think like each other, ladies and gentlemen. We don't even have to talk. We just have to look, because we do the same deep research. And the interesting thing is that I just met Vinny less than 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
And we discovered that we share, of course, a deep knowledge and passion for truth and finding and researching this information. And it's really good to find out information and have somebody outside your research confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very gratifying. So I implore everybody to do that. So while we're talking about all these things that you say, that's crazy or whatever, believe us or don't believe us, but check it out. And then don't be an idiot and just be stubborn and hard-headed and say, and be skeptical and say, to hell with it. They're crazy. Don't do that, because you're going to have to admit that you're wrong, and just accept that, because half of the problem why people don't want to wake up is because their egos and their pride is too there, that they can't be.
They can't admit they were wrong.
And they're not really wrong. They were deceived by a system. Mm-hmm. You were born into this system.
Like the minute you were born.
The minute you were born, you were being lied to. I woke up to this at 40 years old. I mean, you got to understand. I lived my whole life and made choices and decisions that if I could have had the same time and the knowledge I have now, things would be a lot better. In every shape or manner. But this is the way it is. So I look forward to the future. I'm grateful that my son, at his young age of 12,
Yeah, and that's
in his
another thing.
own research. People say, I know I've had people comment on a lot of posts I put. He put a couple of posts up about his school books and things he's noticed, saying that I coach him. I don't coach him. But he listens, he hears what I say, and he wants to do what I do. He researches on his own, and he finds out, and he knows all about this. I'd say, Patrick, and on his own, I'd say, Patrick, did you ever hear of the Bilderberg Group? And he says, oh yeah, those corporations are all trying to work through the United Nations for world government.
That's what your son's saying.
My son's telling me, but so because he researches it, he realizes what they teach him in school isn't the whole truth, because he studied war too. He studies war. He studies the past, and when they read in books about 9/11 and they read books about these other Vietnam War, they don't talk about the Gulf of Tonkin. They don't talk about other things. They don't talk about false flag events. They don't talk about COINTELPRO. Things that he knows about, and some of the things he knows about from video games, which is even scarier.
Well, because even that too, like the movies and music, they're putting messages out to
It's crazy.
The millions of kids playing, Call of Duty, are getting those messages.
That's right.
Some of those games I've seen on the internet. I don't know if you watch those videos. I tell you, I'm into the Hollywood stuff, the music, and even video games, where there'll be these games, and when they win. The game's over. Like, let's say, I think it was that big game, Grand Theft Auto, years ago.
Oh, the new one. There's some new one coming out.
And it was one.
Yeah.
But the end of the game, when you win, the video game actually sits there and is like, you are part of the New World Order, Illuminati. Like, these are the video games. Flat out, like, talking about the New World Order and being a part of, like, this
It's a good thing. It's a loving thing. Be part of it.
It's already putting it in the subconscious of that child.
Well, I reported, in fact, we're going to be taking a short break, and I have please listen to this, too. I have the late, great Larry P. McDonald giving a speech warning about this economic collapse that we're talking about right now in 1975. Actually, it was 1976. And it's a 10-minute speech, and it is one of the greatest speeches I've ever heard in my life, because of the fact that it's so unbelievable when he starts talking about the numbers, the cost of government in 1976 compared to how we would only wish that we could have those deficits and those numbers, and how much of a threat this is to our liberty and to our future. And he again was somebody that was assassinated because of his trying to restore us to a constitutional republic from a hijacked corporate, Borg that's been, spun by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, again, through this world government plan, through the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission. They're all working in concert together, and the Bilderberg Group is the engine. That's the engine that makes it move. Okay, the United Nations holds...
the round table.
It's a round table, but if you want to look at it as a system, you have to look at it as the think tank that organizes where we're going to kill and who we're going to do and what we're going to take.
Go down to the CFR.
Right, that's the CFR. Exactly, right, exactly.
Gets it from the Bilderbergs.
And right, exactly. And
then they'll go to their constituents.
Exactly, and implement their agenda.
And then your governor and mayor and senators and everyone.
That all went to these Bilderberg meetings. They get their orders. It's really true, ladies and gentlemen. It is a conspiracy, but it is not a theory. It is real. And I think I'm going to keep using that line because it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, because conspiracy has all of a sudden been looked at as fraud. People say conspiracy, they think it's not true.
Again,
because of the spin by the media, right?
Mel Gibson mumbling in a cab.
Exactly. Exactly. But we are going to take a break and then continue on some more about liberty and freedom. I have this nice little clip here that I think you will all appreciate from the great Larry P. McDonald.